right, welcome to Ceiling Shattering Tactics. We are here to elevate, innovate, and disrupt executive leadership by digging into the tactics and tools that have helped transformative entrepreneurs and leaders get to where they are today. Joining us is Mara Smith. Mara is the founder of INSPIRO Tequila, a tequila brand that is additive-free, which I love. It looks and tastes great, and an aroma redefining what it means to enjoy tequila. It is crafted from 100% blue Weber agave and contains no additives, a perfect gluten-free, clean drink that fits into a healthier lifestyle. Mara, thank you so much for being here on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Awesome. Let's dive in. Oh, I'm sorry. What?
I just said excited to be here.
Awesome. Well, let's dive in. What is your ceiling shattering tactic?
So I think basically to enter any new industry, I feel like two things really helped to get me there. So my background is nothing in the spirits industry. So here I went from a corporate and legal background, and being a stay-at-home mom to entering into the spirits industry, which was totally a new realm for me. So I think there's a couple of things. One, you have to do the work, just the research and preparation that is required. If you want to learn something new, there are so many resources available out there, and they're all at your fingertips. So it was listening to webinars, reading, listening to podcasts, just taking advantage of everything that was out there, following inspirational people on LinkedIn and listening to their messages. So I think that's the first part, that you really, if you want to move in any direction, especially if you're trying to pivot, you really need to just put in the work and do a ton of research and prepare yourself. And I think the second thing is you really just can't do it alone. So finding a community. And I was able to really reach out to so many female founders and leaders and find these incredible communities of these powerful women who were there to support other women and to collaborate. And that's really been critical to me, getting like guidance and feedback. And again, the only way that I could launch, a completely new brand, and go into something that I've never been in and launch INSPIRO Tequila.
Well, so I love that. And I'm a huge research geek. I love it. So I want to dive in and ask you some questions on this. Like, how do you approach it? Because especially you said you're entering a whole new industry. How do you know what you don't know? And where do you start?
Yeah. And as a founder, I think you need to know enough about every single area that's involved. So you don't have to be the expert in every single area, but you have to know enough. So for me, it was like first starting with the production of tequila, right? A new industry. I had some basic knowledge, but really delving in. So I went and took and, did an online course and got certified in the history and production of tequila. So I took like a really kind of in-depth course, and that was, it's actually offered by the governing body of tequila in Mexico, and they offered it in English. So I took it. And then I started reading. I think you could find just so many resources out there, especially if you read a lot of books. Then I knew I didn't understand social media at all. I mean, I have older kids, and they would laugh at my social media capabilities. So I went and signed up for some one-on-one coaching just to understand the basics of how to maneuver my way around and use Lightroom and Canva and things like that. I listened to so many podcasts. It's, unbelievable. I listened to them on 2 times speed to get in as many as I can as possible. I listen to founder stories and read books, from founders. And I think there's the industry piece of it, but then also just learning all the other aspects, right? I have no background in marketing because I have a really analytical, like accounting, legal, corporate strategy background. So I would just read books. I follow people who, send out newsletters about different marketing tactics and tips. And I just kind of try and take advantage of everything I can and all the resources that I can find.
Well, so I'm curious because I really do like to know other people's strategies when they do research, right? Because like I do a weird thing with Excel where I'm like, okay, what do I not know? and then I start kind of checking off, my progress, right? Do you have a way that you go about doing it, or is it a little bit more ad hoc?
I'd say it's a little bit more ad hoc, and I'd say I tend to kind of take in everything that someone suggests, which maybe I probably have to put up some barriers because it's a lot of information, right? So I listen to some podcasts, and at the end, they always ask for a personal and a professional book recommendation that someone found. So I listen to it. I will think like, oh, this is an area that I could really learn about. And then I will go and find the book and download it or listen to it. So I feel like I get a lot of information that way. Newsletters from people suggesting certain software, and things like that. So I kind of try and take it in and then somehow filter some of it. So, because I can't read or listen to listen to every podcast, read every book that's recommended. So I try and filter it based on the things and the areas that I don't know. And I probably try and take in as much information as I can that has to do with anything marketing, digital marketing, social media, because that's an area that I was really unfamiliar with. So knowing that that's an area of, weakness for me, that's where I probably try and acquire the most information.
Well, and it's an area that's constantly changing, right? Like I'm always catching up on social media marketing and, the best tactics. But what is one thing with research that has been just absolutely instrumental for you? Is there like a software or a way that you do it, a time of day? What is that secret sauce?
I'd say a couple things for podcasts, which I actually find super informative, right? I learn a lot. I hear founder stories. They give a tip. I mean, anything. One founder recommended which is the best credit card for small businesses. I was like, oh, and then I started researching and looked into it and got the credit card, so there are really great.
What's the credit card?
It's actually the Chase Ink card. So I now have it. But so you find some really great practical tips. So I pretty much start off my morning when I'm getting ready. I listen to at least one or two podcasts. I listen to a podcast during walks, if I walk outside, or carpooling. I'll also listen to books on tape, audibles. And then at night, that's sometimes when I try and get some reading done. So I, kind of I want to say it's not really pleasure reading because it's usually, but I enjoy the books about, different founders or business tactics. So that's kind of what I do during the work part of my day. I can't do any of that. So I don't kind of have time to do that. I'll read, certain newsletters, maybe first thing in the morning. I catch up on a lot on the weekends. And anytime I have two kids in college who are both away at college and driving distance. So I take advantage of any of those, road trips, and I can listen to a lot. I'm getting a lot of information during that time.
That's amazing. Before we switch to the next section, I just want to ask you, what inspired you to launch into tequila?
So I knew I was going to start my own company. I always kind of knew that. And I guess I kept coming back to tequila. I've been a tequila drinker for many years. It became my spirit of choice when I was looking for a clean, gluten-free spirit that fit into my kind of healthier lifestyle. And I guess I just discovered that a lot of women actually like tequila, and over half of tequila drinkers are female. And I did not feel that any of the brands really spoke to me. I didn't think that the, look, taste, and aroma were very enticing for me. And I didn't think they were really focused on a female consumer. So I thought there's an opportunity there. I thought a lot of women, drink tequila, have a lot of purchasing power, and care about, what they eat and drink and the brands they support. So I really wanted to bring a new kind of female perspective also, and have women involved in every step of our process and creating INSPIRO Tequila, from creating the taste profiles to getting on the shelves. So I thought I could innovate in the industry and also bring just a new and another female perspective to the industry.
Nice. Well, and that's the perfect segue to our dear future disruptor conversation. I want to bring in Lauren, who's going to ask you a few questions.
Sure.
Thank you. Thank you for your time so far. I just have a couple more to end the show off. So this is a big question, but you can digest it however you'd like to. What is one decision you made that changed the trajectory of your life?
That's actually it's a pretty easy one for me because I was like kind of on this like super fast paced nonstop go go go, and that was from how I was as a student in school to being in a big law firm to going to a Fortune 100 company, and it was this constant like moving that I never actually stopped to think or is there another option or alternative. And really the decision to stay home for a while and raise kids and focus on my family, which I feel very fortunate that I was able to do that. I don't think I ever saw that coming, and I don't think anyone else ever saw that coming either, that I would make that huge transition. I was at a law firm and on a partnership track, and then I, decided to go and try the corporate world out and was super, super focused. So I think that was a really major change for me in my life, because not that really things slow down, because when you have three kids, things don't slow down, but it was a completely different way, same speed, just a different direction.
Absolutely, which was exactly the question. The trajectory of your life changed. Thank you. And then lastly, going back to some of your research that you were talking about earlier, what resources would you suggest to new leaders?
So I am super, super low tech. So for someone that is like me, Airtable has been the best. It's the easiest to use software. I find it, you can organize just all your different databases. I can have everything in one place. It's easy to share. I can find things quickly. I was getting lost in like I had shared Google Drives and Asana and a Slack channel, like so many things going on, and I couldn't find anything. And Airtable is just so simple. And if I can use it, it literally means it's really, really simple to use.
I love it. Lauren, thank you so much for asking those questions. And Mara, your answer just makes me just glow with happiness, because if anyone knows me and my team knows so well, I love Airtable. I am an evangelist of Airtable.
Amazing. So many people have never heard of it. And I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I'm not in the know, and I know that.
Oh yeah. And I'll like get on and I'll check and I'll be like, oh, people haven't entered their information into Airtable. I've got to check with the team. There's an iPhone app. It makes life so much easier.
It really is like a one-stop shop. I'm super crazy about it.
Amazing. Well, so before we let you take off and continue with your transformative work, tell us one thing that you're excited about that we can share with our community.
Well, I'm really excited that we launched. It took a long time. It was, it's not like a snap of the fingers, 18 months, of work. And then we launched online end of September. So INSPIRO Tequila is now online on our website, inspirotequila.com. And getting to that point, getting a website up and running, getting your, shopping pages up, product here, there's a lot that goes into it. So it was, really exciting for us to see it kind of all come to fruition.
Congratulations. That's so exciting.
Thank you.
We're so happy to have you on the show with us today. Thank you so much. And that is it for this week's Ceiling Shattering Tactics. If you would like more insight into the toolboxes of influential female leaders, such as Mara, follow Mind the Ceiling on social media to get the latest updates. We will see you next week.
Thank you so much.